Brought to you by Penguin.
The Black Box by Henry Louis Gates, Jr. Read by Dominic Hoffman.
For Stephanie Gates, always outside of the box. For Eleanor Margaret Gates Hatley, always remember, you have the right to check your own box, or no box at all. Be ye not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. Galatians 5:1. Race is the modality in which class is lived, the medium through which class relations are experienced. Stuart Hall, Policing the Crisis, 1978. Preface. The Black Box. All my life I had been looking for something, and everywhere I turned someone tried to tell me what it was. I accepted their answers, too, though they were often in contradiction and even self-contradictory. I was naive. I was looking for myself and asking everyone except myself questions which I, and only I, could answer. It took me a long time and much painful boomeranging of my expectations to achieve a realization everyone else appears to have been born with, that I am nobody but myself. Ralph Ellison, Invisible Man. My granddaughter Ellie was born by C-section on a Saturday afternoon in November of 2014, after her mother, my older daughter Maggie, stoically suffered through induced labor for about 24 hours. That evening, my son-in-law, Aaron Hatley, came over for a warm hug and a celebratory shot of bourbon from my oldest bottle of Pappy Van Winkle's Family Reserve. I listened to Aaron's play-by-play of the previous day's events, and after a decent pause, I asked the question that I'd wanted to ask all along. "Did you check the box?" I asked, apropos of nothing we had just discussed. Without missing a beat, my good son-in-law responded, "Yes, sir." I did. "Very good," I responded, as I poured a second shot of Pappy Van Winkle. Aaron, a young white man, had checked the black box on the form that Americans are required to complete at the time of the birth of a child. Now, my daughter's father's admixture, in other words, mine, is 50% sub-Saharan African and 50% European, according to the tests offered by commercial DNA companies that I have taken over the last decade and a half. My son-in-law is 100% European. Because my daughter is 75% European, her daughter, Ellie, will test about 87.5% European when she spits in the test tube. Legally, at least once upon a time, and if not legally any longer than by convention, practice, and/or volition, Eleanor Margaret Gates Hatley, who looks like an adorable little white girl, will live her life as a black person, because her father and mother checked the black box. I imagine that our conservative Supreme Court, which has already weighed in on the use of such boxes in higher education admissions, will continue to have its eye on them. And because of that arbitrary practice, a brilliant, beautiful, little white-presenting female will be destined throughout her life to face the challenge of proving that she is black, simply because her self-styled raceman grandfather ardently and, perhaps foolishly, wished for her racial self to be socially constructed that way. Such is the absurdity of the history of race and racial designations in the United States of America, stemming from the law of hypodescent, the proverbial one-drop rule. Perhaps Eleanor will choose to dance the dance of racial indeterminacy, moving effortlessly back and forth across the color line. Or maybe she will claim a social identity that reflects the percentage of her ancestors over the last 500 years who were of European descent. Or maybe she will keep a photograph of her grandfather in her pocketbook and delight in refuting.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?